Hey folks, it's Wolfie here, back with another Digimon World Next Ord. Well, honestly, that was kind of weird. Anyways, as I was saying, today we're going to be going over the Digivolution Dojo and what it does. Although it's fairly straightforward, once you get the hang of it, I've had a bunch of messages from some of you guys. Mate, could you please? Thanks. This guide is going to discuss how to get the dojo set up in the first place, what each level of the dojo actually does, i.e. level 1, 2 and 3. We're going to then look at which residents can join the dojo when they arrive at the city and what they do when they get there. And then lastly, I will quickly show you guys where to get some of the resources that you need in order to upgrade the dojo if you haven't already maxed it out. All time links are annotated on the screen now, so feel free to click ahead if you're looking for something specific. I am going to try my absolute best to keep this short and snappy in order to save you guys as much time as possible. Alright, do you want to be shitting in a can for the next 3 weeks? Because I can totally make that happen. Okay then. So, in order to get the dojo opened in the first place, players will have to make it to Chapter 2 within the game. Once you have enough prosperity points, you can speak to GrapeLeomon in the step-step part of the server desert. GrapeLeomon's going to ask you to find him some grease to repair some of his limbs or something like that, and in order to get this, you have to find Gargomon, who's located in the Tower Road part of the desert. After you get the grease from Gargomon, bring it back to GrapeLeomon, and after that, he will come to the city and start up the dojo. Ultimately, the main purpose of the dojo is to give players a bit more control over their Digivolution paths whilst playing through the game. At level 1, speaking to Leomon will allow you to view the chart of your partner's potential Digivolutions. This is the same as the history chart found in your menu system, but with the added feature of these square icons, L, M, H and Fix. The letters stand for low, medium, high and fixed, and each represent how close to the requirements your partner is to evolving into the targeted Digimon. Fixed, for example, means that, as it stands, your partner is on track to change into that Digimon indicated. As long as nothing in their stats, like weight, discipline or bonds, change, then in a few days they will become that Digimon. H, or the high symbol, means that you're only one requirement off of your target. If the player then fulfills this condition, then the icon will then update to fix, meaning that your partner is ready and on track. Respectively then, M, or the medium icon, means that you're 2 requirements short of your target, and the L, or low symbol, means that you're at least 3 conditions off. At first, this feature of the dojo aims to help players who don't have much revealed in their Digivolution requirements tab. By returning to the dojo and keeping an eye on your icons, you should get a little more help in achieving the Digimon that you want, or avoid the Digimon that you don't want. We're all looking at you, Gargomon. Sorry buddy. Level 2 of the dojo is where things really start to get useful though. As part of the upgrade, you can now block off the Digivolution options that you really don't want to get. In other words, if you have hit all the requirements for a certain evolve, but are aiming for another option, you can block the first path so that you don't accidentally fall into it. Hovering over each Digimon in your chart, you can click the X button, and that's it. You will not digivolve into this evolution anymore. As someone who loved the original Digimon World, this is a really nice feature to have. In Digimon World 1, you were constantly at the mercy of the game, as in trying to hit the criteria for one Digimon, you might accidentally slip into the criteria of another, and therefore you would end up with that Digimon. I could understand the argument that some players might want to maintain the mystery of not knowing what you're about to evolve in, but that's the beauty of it. If this is your playstyle or the way that you want to play the game, then that's great. You don't actually have to use the dojo if you don't want to. But for everyone else, this can be a really useful tool. It's pretty much a win-win and a really nice touch by the developers in my opinion. Once you make it into Chapter 3 and upgrade your dojo to level 2, you can pretty much obtain the 4 recruitable Digimon that can join the city and upgrade the dojo. So before we look at level 3 and what this does, I'm going to quickly go over some of these guys. First up we've got Paladramon, who you can find in Mod Cape. He's going to challenge you to a battle where your health begins at 10% for both your partners. This can actually be quite a tough fight, but there are a couple of ways around it. First of all, I would recommend that you pack a shit ton of recoveries. The ability to EXE Digivolve is also pretty crucial here, as this will restore your partners to full HP when they merge together, so try and have access to this before the fight if possible. When Paladramon joins the city, he will allow your 2 partners to DNA Digivolve, assuming that they are compatible. You know the epic badass Digimon that you can get when you EXE Digivolve during a battle? Kinda like what we just discussed. This guy will allow you to keep one of them with you permanently. From your 2 Digimon, you can pick which one will become the new and improved stronger Digimon, but as a result, the other partner will move down a tier. i.e. from Mega to Ultimate, or if they are Ultimate, the partner will move down to Champion level. We're not quite done with Paladramon, so we'll come back to him in just a second. We have Gargomon up next, and he can be found in the server desert on the way to Logic Volcano. A tough fight, but when he joins the city, he can offer to manipulate some of your Digimon's existing stats. For 10,000 bits, he can adjust your weight, discipline, or care mistakes. This can seem helpful at first, but it is expensive, and later on there will be some alternative ways to adjust these stats. In any case, he is okay once you get him to begin with and you don't have access to these other options, but remember that you can only use them once a day. Matt Gargomon is the little blue wolf guy who has the kind of jetpack sort of deal going on. You can find this guy in Faulty Ex Machina. You'll have to fight him in timed conditions and beat him in under a minute. Once this little guy joins the city, he will give you rewards based on the number of Digimon you have raised. Of all the Digimon inside the dojo, this is probably the one that's going to give you the least value and you're going to speak to the least. That being said, make sure to check up on him every now and then and get your freebies. Lastly, we have Untitled, who can be found in Leomon's fortress in the Aguino Wastelands. Once you beat Rosemon, you can obtain an item and give it to him. It's a pillow. But what he doesn't mention is that it's actually stuffed full of drugs. When he arrives in the dojo, you can pick one of your partners and he will reveal one single part of their Digivolution requirements that hasn't yet been revealed. Each time he does this, you will have to provide him with a Digivolution stone as payment. It can be any stone at all, and you can do it as many times as you like each day. I usually just buy the cheapest ones from the store in town and use these. I imagine that as you get further into the game and unlock more of your requirements yourself, you will use this guy less and less and he will eventually fall off. That being said, for the time being, he is super useful and you should try and utilise his tool as much as you can. And that's pretty much a quick rundown of the dojo Digimon. Now, if you decide to take your dojo up to level 3, which is activated through Paladramon again, everything is pretty much the same as before, but now instead of only being able to DNA Digivolve your partner Digimon together, you can now DNA Digivolve each partner with your city residents as well. This obviously opens up a lot more options for who you can merge with, which should make the whole process a lot easier. There is a set list of which Digimon can DNA fuse, so don't expect to be able to merge everyone and their grandmother. Obviously, if you recruit more Digimon to the city, your options will expand, but there are a couple of weird exceptions where some Digis won't fuse. As a super quick example, I couldn't get my Metal Garurumon, who you can see on screen now, to fuse with the Wargreymon who already lives in my town. Even though these two are technically DNA compatible, and the two are also EXE Digivolution compatible, the game wouldn't let me fuse. If I flipped the scenario around however, and I had Wargreymon, the game would let me fuse Metal Garurumon if I had him in town. So like I said, the game has a couple of weird exceptions. As a result, you might want to consider which Digimon fuse beforehand if you really want to make your Mega Digimon ascend to the next rank. All things being said though, this is a really useful function, and I'm assuming that a lot of you guys will find this helpful for beating some of the harder fights later on in the game. If you decide to upgrade the dojo to level 3, this is what you're going to have access to. Okay, so lastly, in order to upgrade your dojo to levels 2 and 3, you'll need a bunch of resources. The main ones for level 2 are Snowwood and Mithril. There are a bunch of places you can get these in the game, but here are two spots that I use the most. You can use these as a reference point if you like. Snowwood can be found on the edge of Faulty Ex Machina, and in the entrance to Absolute Zero. Mithril I pick up from this point in Bonnie Resort on the road to the graveyard. If you then want to take your dojo up to level 3, you will then need Digilight, Digifelwood and Digifirewood. I would assume that a lot of you guys already have enough of the first two, but if not, you can use L1 or R1 to find the locations of these from Vmon himself. Firewood, however, can be a little more tricky, and so I'm just going to round off by showing you guys this spot here. Head to the Logic Volcano and go left into the garbage pile. This is past Birdramon and those kind of Digimon. Keep going left until you come to the little fire shrine area, which is called the Hidden Red House. Here you should find a pretty decent spot for farming firewood, again shown on screen now. And that about rounds us up folks. This has been my complete, albeit slightly garbage, guide to the Digivolution Dojo. If you have any questions, or perhaps you want to leave us some hints for the rest of the team watching this video, make sure you speak to us all down in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for your continued support, but most importantly, thank you for your time. Somehow, at the moment of this recording, we are up to 335 subscribers here on the channel, which is actually insane. You guys humble me so much. I have been Jack, aka Mr. Wolfie, aka whatever you and your hot Spanish teacher want to call me. Take it easy guys, and have a fantastic day. So, what did you guys think of the video?
This is excellent. This is excellent. This is excellent.
Kill me.